the day after the Super Bowl, we're here to recap it all, plus give you analysis you haven't seen yet today. Mina Kimes is going to tell you how Jalen Hurts flipped the script on the Chiefs, doing something we usually talk about Mahomes doing, plus exactly what went wrong with the Kansas City Chiefs. Dan Orlovsky has a tape explaining why Mahomes struggled, and a word we almost never use to describe Andy Reid will be used today. And what's next for Aaron Rodgers? We're going to give you 3 teams with the potential to land him. One is the Browns. You have to stay tuned to find out who the other 2 are. So much to get to today as the 2022 NFL season is officially in the books. And here's everybody with us. Of course, Mina Kimes, Dan Orlovsky, Ryan Clark, Marcus Spears. Everybody is here, and we're going to get started. It was an incredible Super Bowl 59 for the Eagles, I guess you could say. As you see, Jalen Hurts and Patrick Mahomes ready to go there. We're going to get it started here. Chiefs looking to three-peat. Eagles looking for revenge of Super Bowl 57. First quarter, no score. Eagles with 2nd and 11 at the Kansas City 28, and Jalen Hurts deep to Jahan Dotson, Dan.
It's a beautiful job by Jalen at the line of scrimmage, driving the ball downfield one-on-one, and then we see the most unstoppable play in football, tush-push, early success for this offense.
Eagles on the board first, 7-0. Second quarter, the Chiefs trailing 10-0. 1st and 10 from their own 30. Patrick Mahomes sacked by Josh Sweat, a loss of 4 yards. Great pressure by that Eagles defense. Next play, 2nd and 14. Mahomes feeling the pressure again, and then Jalen Hunt sacking Mahomes again, and Mahomes just struggled against that defense. More on that to come. Next play, Mahomes pass picked off by Cooper DeJean on his birthday, turns on the Jets, takes it all the way for the pick 6. The 2nd rookie to record an interception touchdown return in Super Bowl history. That was an incredible play. As you see what DeJean was able to do, the young man has made such an impact for this team. All right, less than 2 minutes to go in the first half. Chiefs 1st and 10 from their own 6, and Mahomes picked off again, Dan.
This was a product of a little bit of pressure, but then also Patrick being a little bit unsettled. And the best inside linebacker in football, Zach Bond, makes an incredibly athletic and difficult catch. And then watch how the Eagles get to the line of scrimmage quickly. A blown and/or busted coverage by the Chiefs defense. And it's an easy touchdown pass to A.J. Brown, and the route is on.
Eagles extending their lead 24-0. Shocking for Chiefs fans. The next drive, Mahomes sending it to DeAndre Hopkins, but he can't hold on. A missed opportunity there. They can't believe it. This game meant so much to Hopkins and, of course, the rest of this Chiefs team. Chris Jones forlorn on the sideline. The Eagles take that 24-0 lead into the half. Early 3rd quarter, Mahomes dropping back here, trying to make something happen, and Josh Sweat says, no, I'm going to sack you again. The Chiefs punt on their drive to begin the second half. Absolutely what they could not do. 9 minutes to play in the third. The Eagles with 2nd and 4 from their own 47, and Saquon Barkley with his longest run of the game for first down. 25 carries for 57 yards for Barkley in this one. 3 plays later, Hurts rolling right, throwing to Barkley, and he comes down with a 22-yard reception. The Eagles add a field goal, making it 27-0, absolutely dominant. Now, later in the third, same score. Eagles 1st and 10 from the Chiefs 46. Hurts sending it deep right there. Devontae Smith with the 46-yard touchdown play, Dan.
This was right after the 4th down stop. They got up to their 12 personnel, 2 tight ends, play action, the beautiful pocket, the safety double teams. A.J. Brown, and just a post throw over the top was another deep ball masterpiece by Jalen Hurts.
It's now 37-0. Eagles on top. 10 minutes to play, and Mahomes, they just kept coming. Strip sack by Milton Williams. The Eagles recover, and Nick Sirianni is going to celebrate with the Gatorade bath here. You'll see, of course, the celebration for this Philly team that waited for their turn to get revenge. They win 40-22. They're Super Bowl 59 champions. And hard to pick one notable milestone for Jalen Hurts, so we picked 4, okay? He's the first player with 5 rushing and passing touchdowns in a postseason. The first with 10 and 10 in a postseason career. 50 rushing yards in 2 Super Bowls. Nobody's done that. The list goes on and on. Here's Jalen Hurts this morning talking about this big win.
When it's all said and done for me, I won't measure my success off of any numbers of statistics or passing yards or touchdowns or anything like that. I measure it off of rings and championships. To be able to bring a championship back to Philadelphia means everything.
It goes without saying just how special it was to see Jalen Hurts accomplish this. Dan, just how good was Hurts last night?
Yeah, he was sensational. Arguably his best game of the season. You know, 2 years ago when they went to the Super Bowl, kind of felt like he was the most improved passer I'd ever seen in my life. And I think the course of this season, he's really grown into a masterclass person at the line of scrimmage. The way that he, and we've talked about this, gets them in and out of plays is awesome. If you go early third downs, he's going to go through cadence and he's going to anticipate pressure from the top. But I want everyone to see the defensive ends as he goes through that leg kick. The bottom defensive end standing up. Top defensive end, hand in the dirt. That means one's dropping, one's pressuring. Saquon with the beautiful blitz pickup, man-to-man coverage, and the double move to Jahan Dotson on the outside. A perfect throw by Jalen Hurts. This is control at the line of scrimmage. Motion goes. As an offensive quarterback, motion goes, no one runs with, 100% anticipate zone coverage. Watch the bottom of the screen. Jalen's ball out now before Devontae's making his break. You have to throw it in that little soft spot triangle of cover 2 on his right shoulder to turn him away from that internal defender. Fantastic. Next one, motion, but watch how the safety now drops down at the bottom of the screen. Instead of zone, it's an indicator of man coverage. Jalen's going to actually signal to AJ, hey, I want you to go the go route, okay? Now the corner this time plays on top in contrast to the Dotson one that demands the back shoulder throw. This is quarterbacking. This is what it looks like. And then they break the line of huddle, get to line of scrimmage, and quickly Jalen realizes, oh, that linebacker's passing it off, but Bolting is getting picked by those double tight ends pushing vertical. Ball has to go to A.J. Brown in the shallow cross, and it's a touchdown. You know, we throw the word around of quarterbacking or whatnot for a lot of different players. I really think that's one of the things that at least I have to be vocal about in my very much so impressed mind right now with Jalen Hurts is he's really developed into a big-time quarterback this year and certainly over these past couple weeks.
Yeah, and Dio, I look at the effect of Saquon Barkley still. He didn't come away with the gaudy numbers that we've grown accustomed to during this season, but you could tell this defense and what their number one mission was throughout this game. It was to force Jalen Hurts to beat them with those opportunities downfield that you just talked about. But Howard Roseman made a decision to bring a value to the running back position based on a special player. You talked about the blitz pickup. Those are things that go unnoticed. The 22-yard reception down the sideline when you get matched up on the linebacker. He created a lot of these things by his presence. And I don't want that to fall on deaf ears because a long time we had a conversation about the value of this position. When you got the right guy, the value of the position, Matt, is a matter of fact when you get in these particular situations. And as much as we lauded Steve Spagnuolo, as much as we talked about how well this defense has been in the playoffs and the Super Bowl runs that they've made, Saquon Barkley's presence dictated a lot of what they did defensively, and Jalen Hurts was a beneficiary of that and had the ability to make them pay.
Saquon Barkley's presence was a huge piece of why Jalen Hurts was able to play well in this game, but I also believe it was Jalen Hurts' disrespect. I mean, for the last 2 weeks, hell, for the entire season, the whole conversation has been what happens when Saquon Barkley doesn't play at an MVP level? Well, we got to see it last night, and it's not necessarily that Saquon didn't play that way. It's that Steve Spagnuolo decided to try to take Saquon Barkley out of the game, and so it gave Jalen Hurts these one-on-one matchups that he had a chance to exploit, whether it was Jalen Watson twice or the back shoulder to Trent McDuffie. Even early on in the game on the 4th down with the OPI, Jalen Hurts not only recognized every time he had a one-on-one matchup, but he was able to execute with his brain and the throw throughout the entire game. And then when that wasn't happening, he was able to utilize his skill as a runner to pick up first down and extend the drives. I thought it was a masterful performance by the Philadelphia Eagles quarterback, and I thought Kellen Moore put him in place to do that by, even though Saquon Barkley not breaking the big run, it was consistently calling the run and Jalen Hurts executing outside of that.
Yeah, that ability as a runner is what frankly shocked me in this game to some degree. We usually associate these timely scrambles in the postseason with Patrick Mahomes, but Jalen Hurts in this game was spectacular on the ground. And obviously he broke the rushing record, so that speaks for itself. But going back and watching, guys, a few things jumped out to me. So early on in the game, the Chiefs tried to stop him on the ground, similarly to how the Bills do it, which is they would use the linebacker as a delayed rusher, keeping eyes on the quarterback. It was Nick Bolton, but he was constantly behind Hurts because Hurts was so decisive in taking off. This is another thing you saw again on some explosive runs late in the game versus the blitz. Hurts saw the open rush lane, grass in the middle of the field, planted his foot, and ran through the defense. I was honestly so impressed by his speed, the decisiveness again as a runner, because it was incredibly impactful in this game.
I think the other thing that stood out throughout this game was how much, we talked about it last week, but the no huddle helped this football team. The no huddle and the different times and ways that they got to line of scrimmage offensively and the different times that they changed up their snap count. And you didn't see a lot of crazy exotic pressures from Kansas City on defense. They had the one when Jalen threw the interception down in the red zone on. Other than that, it was them getting to the line of scrimmage, gathering information, and that helped Jalen kind of control some of that. And that was a big story of them dictating to Kansas City defensively instead of vice versa.
For all the respect that we have for Kansas City's coaching staff, there's no doubt that the Eagles coaching staff outcoached them. More on that throughout the show. But let's talk about Nick Sirianni. He was up bright and early this morning addressing the media.
Tough, detailed together. We talked about that all year. It's not to inspire them. It's just to, it's more to just remind them of the things they already know. And I keep it really short. I talk a lot all during the week. So before the game, it pretty much is consistent. Week 1 to week 37, whatever number we are on. Tough, detailed together. That's our core values. That's what we talk about. And the toughest team wins usually, the most detailed team wins usually, and the team that's most together wins usually.
How about Sirianni wearing A.J. Brown's high school jersey today, by the way? That's what that was. Adam Schefter with us now, and Shefty with us for the next 2 hours. A lot of news. Let's start with a huge night for the Eagles head coach, but his contract is set to expire after next season. Should we expect a new deal for him this offseason?
Absolutely, Laura. The two sides will sit down this offseason, and Super Bowl 59 always was going to be worth millions of dollars to Nick Sirianni. The fact that he won, he's put himself in a position now to land a lucrative new extension from the Eagles that places him above a rookie first-year head coach like Ben Johnson, whom the Chicago Bears are paying $13 million a year. But with Sirianni headed into the last year of his deal, the Eagles are going to want to get an extension done. And he will be there with Lane Johnson, who once again proclaimed that he's not retiring. One of the great offensive linemen of our era, repeated after the game last night. He is definitely not retiring, despite the fact that he just completed his 12th season with the Philadelphia Eagles, still playing at an incredibly high level, and a trip to Canton, Ohio awaits him whenever he finishes playing. Meanwhile, we do not know the future of Travis Kelce. He's undecided, and I think a lot will be determined by the offers that come to him this offseason in terms of media opportunities, entertainment opportunities. If there's enough out there, maybe that could be enough to persuade him to give up the sport he loves playing. He's talked about how he's got a lot of football left in him. That's if he wants to do that. And that's a decision that he will have to make at some point this season. He certainly could be back. He certainly could opt to go in a different direction. That will be one of the big offseason storylines.
Yeah, you wondered if they had won the game, how it would have changed things potentially. More from Shefty throughout the next 2 hours, as I said. RC, how do you think Kelce goes about making the decision about his future?
Isn't Trav sort of in the same place? Our colleague and friend, his brother Jason Kelce, was in last year. Still feeling like you can still do it and you still have it, but you know you don't have it like you used to. And it's going to be based on whether or not Travis Kelce understands he's a diminished player and is comfortable with that. When you're at the highest of highs, when you're the best pass-catching tight end in the history of the National Football League, it's hard to go into a game last night, have 2 drops, not have any impactful catches or impact on the game. Can Travis Kelce go forward in 2025 and be that person, especially when so many lucrative opportunities await him in his second career? Travis Kelce is going to have to take some time, sit down, and know what sort of player he wants to be and what sort of life he wants to live. But he's earned the right to take his time in doing so.
Yeah, Kelce had his 9th straight season with 80 catches in 2024. That's the longest streak in NFL history.